Hey folks, welcome to Open's Gaming Den. Today we're going to unbox this behemoth of a box. This is Anunnaki Dawn of the Gods, published by Cranial Creations. This is the Kickstarter version. If you cannot tell, it's right over here. Designed by Danilo Sabbia and Simone Luciani. The designers, if those names sound familiar, they're more renowned for doing Euro games. Specifically, Simone Luciani has done some really well-regarded games in recent years, such as Zolkin, Grand Austria Hotel, and all of those different games. This is still a Euro from what I understand, but it is a much more thematic game. As you can see, there's probably going to be miniatures and all of that stuff in here. Anunnaki, if you're not familiar with the concept, it's sort of like this mythological, maybe the right way to put it, where some believe that they were sort of like beings of yesteryear who were sort of like gods or demigods or something like that, and a whole bunch of different things, and they went away or something to that effect happened and whatnot. So there is a little bit of that associated with it. Now it's I don't know how much of that is going to heavily factor into the gameplay itself over here, but that is definitely the theme of the game in this, and I'm very excited to try it out because I'm a sucker for whenever a Euro game comes in with a proper meaty theme, something rather than just you're creating a Mediterranean sort of a concept. So I'm very excited about cracking into this one and seeing what we have in here. This has the base game, and I believe this has the version that I have has one of the expansions in here. Now you can see that there are a few different expansions that the game can come with. You have the Journeys of the Gods, you have the Fall of the Gods, and then you have Origins of the Gods. So yeah, and the version that we have here is Kickstarter exclusive. If you don't believe me, that's right there. But yeah, this is a humongous box no matter how you look at it. Let's see, where can I find the player count and the time anywhere in here? I cannot see that anywhere in the box. No, I don't see it. We'll just figure it out when we get to it, I guess. Overall, I like the aesthetics. Of course, I'm just looking at the box cover art as of now, but I'm gonna take off the shrink over here, and we're gonna crack into it, and we can have a look at it together in terms of what's inside. And apologies for movement of the camera there a little bit, but it is going to be a bit of a work moving this thing around and maneuvering it, so my apologies for any bumps in advance, as it were. So all right, okay, now I've definitely unboxed some large games on this channel before, so unboxing a big huge box is not new for me, not new for the games that I have in my collection or anything of that sort. But in terms of sheer depth, like this is the Infinity Box by Anachrony level stuff at this point. So yeah, I think that Perseverance and some of the others I think were amongst the largest boxes that I had, and this definitely gives me flashback to those. So all right, now that we have the shrink off, we can get a better look at the artwork on the cover. You can definitely see the sci-fi aspect of it coming through. Looks like there's some sort of a planet overlooking a pyramid of sorts, overlooking some dudes looking out from over a mountain, over the fields. So yeah, this is exciting stuff. Now, one thing that you may not be able to tell as I move my hand over this writing over here, as well as the writing that we have on the sides, this is there's a little bit of 3D dimension to it, so it's pretty cool. All right, enough of me babbling on. Let's crack into it and see what we have inside. Standard inside of the lid, good to know. Right, so the first thing we see are some punch boards. Now, I will quickly call out, so this thing does come with some expansions on top of the base game. I have not played the game, so I'm not really going to be able to identify what is the expansion and what is the base game. But I'll generally have my comments peppered throughout, so take that for what you may. We may see some information on it as we go through it, though. So, all right, so looks like we have some of these circular boards. This in case you cannot tell, is planet Earth. You have North America, South, Africa, Europe, Asia somewhere over there off in the horizon. And then if you flip it to the other side, so it's double-sided. Looks like there's a difference in terms of how many hexes you have here. So there's 4 going across this way. There's 3 going across this way. So, okay, so there we go. So this may be based on play count. So this says 2 up over here, and this says 3 to 4 up over here. So you might be using specific size depending on how many player counts you're going with. So we do have one of these. We have this, which is not one of the, does not fold. It's just a single board. I don't see the same number telling you the player count, so it might just be for variability then. Thickness on this is decent. That's what you might expect a game board to be, roughly. We get another one of these. We get another one of these. One more. And one more. Okay, so there we go. So there was a whole bunch, some of them. So might be planets, I think, maybe. We don't know. Okay, so we have Anunnaki, Dawn of the Gods, the rulebook. Let's see what we have inside here. You get to see a whole bunch of different components. These, I assume, would be for the base game. So you have a Gaia board, which I guess was Earth that we saw. We have one planet board. So it looks like there's one planet board that comes in the base game. The others might be expansions, but there's a whole bunch of other boards that we will come across as well, which we haven't seen yet. So, okay. Gameplay. Additional actions, resolving battles. So there's definitely combat in this game. You have Atlantis. This should be fun. All right. Appendix, God powers. You have Babylon, Pharaohs, Narenes. I'm actually not familiar with Narenes. Elenes. Elenes? Is that the pronunciation? I don't know. Artifact cards. Okay, so the rulebook is not that lengthy. So this might be something that hopefully is relatively easy to get into. Obviously not light, because there's still quite a few pages to get through. Looks like we also have a rule book for the solo mode. So for those of you who like playing your games solo, you'll be happy to know that this game does cater to your need as well. And it looks like there's quite a few steps for the solo mode. So it's definitely not just a minor modification and do that. It's this is almost as long as the main rulebook itself. So there's something for you to sink your teeth into if you're into that kind of stuff. All right, expansion. Now what do we have here? So we have mythological creatures. We have, these are the mythological creatures. We have their powers. We have some asymmetric setups, special artifacts. We have Nipponis House. Okay. All right. Looks like just some things that maybe add a bit of variability to the gameplay and whatnot. We have some cardboard. Let's see how these punch out. These are punching out quite well. Thickness is okay, but it's definitely quite sturdy. As I try to bend this and see if I can get a little bit of give. No, it seems quite sturdy, so that's good. So we have these. We have some more cardboard. And some more cardboard over here. Then we get to game board of sorts. It is double-sided. Is this based on the player count? Let's see if we can make this out. I cannot tell yet. Maybe you have already. I'm probably missing it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it is double-sided, so that's there. Then we have these. Oh, these look very cool. So if you have not been able to tell yet, these are recessed. Oh, I'm looking at it upside down. These are recessed. So whatever bits you might have going into these, they will hold, hopefully. There's stuff, recessed stuff in here, in here. All of these small squares that you see are recessed. Not over here. This is recessed. These are recessed. This is recessed. These triangles up top are recessed. These are recessed. This is very cool. All right. So that's there. So these might be the individual player boards, I think. I see 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So there's 4 of them, I assume, for 4 players. Hopefully that mystery has been solved. It might be for the base one. I think this comes with 3 different expansions that you could have potentially gotten. And if I remember correctly, I think I've opted for 2 of the expansions, not all 3. And one of the expansions potentially added a player count, and I'm usually very cautious about that. But before I get into this is a very thick piece of foam to just stick inside this. I'm not really sure how this benefits it. I feel like they could have easily collapsed this down a little bit, made it a much more reasonable depth. But it also could be because of the expansion content. So maybe this is because of the expansions I did not get, which would have been used over here had I got them. But because I didn't, we have this. Okay. All right. So maybe that's the case. So depending on if you backed it with just one of the expansions, you might be looking at some sort of a thick foam in your box that eats up that space. But maybe if you got all the expansions, that's probably not going to be there, and then you'll have space for fitting all of this stuff in here. So, okay, so that's that. And again, just a hypothesis. I don't know that for sure, but that would make the most sense, because otherwise it's just a terrible waste of space, just given sort of like the size of the box. All right. So we do get some... we have stickers in here at the sides, which need to be taken off. So we do get these inserts. I don't believe these are game trays. They just don't look like game trays. But they do come with a lid, which I definitely appreciate. So that's good. Let's see what we have in here. These are... I don't know what this is. Is this like a... Looks like a broken bowl of sorts, but is this like a fragmented planet? Or I don't know what this is supposed to be. We have another one out over here. Then we have some miniatures. This is very nice. I really like the level of detail on this. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I don't believe I've ever gotten a game from Crane Creations that has miniatures or minis in them, but these are not so bad. Now this one in the main body, not quite so detailed. It's cleaner, but overall still quite decent looking, so I'm happy with that. We get some more of these. There's quite a bit of the box still left to go through, so I'm gonna try and speed this along. We're not going to go through maybe all of the miniatures, but I do want to give you a sense of everything that's in here. There's a couple. This one's pretty cool. Let's have a look at this one. You can see some sort of a fox-like creature with flames in the background, or are these like tentacles? I'm not really sure. But definitely looks very attractive. And then you have one more creature out over here. We have some cards. We're gonna crack into this and see what's happening with this one. Okay, there we go. Did not have to spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how to get into that. Yeah, the artwork is definitely quite good. This gives off more of... These are more like the cards you would see in a thematic Ameritrash or like a dungeon crawler sort of a game in terms of art style and aesthetics. Thickness on the card, I do wish this was a little bit thicker. But yeah, but I mean, I'll give you a view of some of the artwork on it. It's definitely quite attractive. It's definitely very non-Euro-y. Does not feel very Euro-y. Again, I'm assuming the game is a thematic Euro, just given sort of like the designers involved. But I don't remember from the Kickstarter. I could be totally off base here. So yeah, so take that with a pinch of salt, if you will. You have some of these cards. I don't know what these cards do, but they look very nice. Okay. Bases, I'm not going to go through that. Then we have some cubes, translucent, that's fine. And those are plastic, by the way. These are also plastic, but these are markers of sorts. And I think that there is, yeah, there is some design on it. So I just quickly wanted to show that out. And then we get some sort of pawn with a similar design on that as well. So nice. That's that. We get some of these miniature, what looks like Japanese houses, the older medieval Japanese houses or something like that. They are definitely dressed that way as well. Now, I will, however, say that this seems a little lighter than what I would usually find these miniatures to be. So I don't know if that's just me or if this is an actual reflection of the quality, but they do feel like these are a little lighter, a little thinner. I don't know what's a good way of describing it compared to, they don't feel as substantial as a lot of other minis I would have seen in other games. So take that with a pinch of salt, if you will. But otherwise, I assume that if you were to paint these up, you could make this look very, very attractive. It's very hard to tell the level of detail on this one, though, just by itself. Maybe it's coming out a little bit better on the camera, but as I look at it in front of me, it's a little harder to tell, especially with the face and all of that stuff. So that's that. And then we have some of these smaller, these are really small, by the way. These are really, really small. These are really tiny. I'm going to try and see if I can bring this up close so that you guys can get a view of it. But just to give you a sense of how tiny it is, like that is how tiny this is. This is not even a third of my finger, and my fingers aren't that tall to begin with. They're wide. They're not that tall, though. So, yeah. Okay. So that's that. We're going to put the lid back on this and move the show along. We have another insert to get through. We have some more cards. I'm going to try and get the sticker off before I do any damage to the box as I try to open it. Oh, it looks like this one might have stickers on the sides as well. Oh, does it? No, it does not. So, okay, there we go. That wasn't so bad. What do we have here? We have what looks like some resources. Like crystals or not, but they're like specks in here on the inside, which make it look very interesting. Hopefully it's coming out as we look at it in the video itself, but I don't know if that's a design flaw or if it's intentional, but it definitely gives it a very good look. So either way, I'm pretty happy with it. Now, these are on the smaller side. So again, I wish there wasn't quite so small, but, and then these are just standard cubes. So I don't know if these are resources or if this is for you to move things up and down your track. But there does seem to be a bit of a, let me show you some of these maybe. There does seem to be a little bit of a matte finish on these. So these are not like glossy. It's actually quite nice. I actually like the look of this as I'm looking at it up front. So yeah, the shininess is more muted, which is something that I would like. Again, like I said, matte might be the wrong way to put it, but I think that's the closest description I can think of at the moment to describe that. We have, I believe these might be markers for the individual players. There's, what is that, 4 different colors, I think. So yeah, for the And then, so on one side you have the artwork, maybe denoting the faction or something, and then on the other side there's a 10. So I guess once you max out on your track, you flip it over and then you start tracking it with that. You get some more markers in different colors. I assume these are maybe the cards that come in the base game versus the trade that we had to look at, which was the one for the expansion. Let's see, what do we look at next? Let's have a look at this card. Okay. So more functional than artistic. Has icons more than anything else. There's two different types. You have cards with this pack and then cards with this pack. So it looks like day and night or something like that. And then maybe you're just selecting actions based on the cards you play or something like that. It's just icons, not a lot of artwork on them, if I could say that. But overall, they look clean. They look like they're easy to tell apart. So hopefully it's functional from a gameplay point of view. So there's those cards. There's some other cards in here as well. Oh, there we go. Now we're off in the realm of mythology. Heimdallr, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Thor, Frigg, Loki, Aegir, Freya, Seth, Bastet, Isis, Anubis, Horus. Okay, so now we're going into the realm of the mythological gods. And I think now we're onto the Greek gods. So we had Greek, Egyptian, and then Norse mythology over here. These look like item cards. Again, they do give off the aesthetic of being sort of like cards that you might find in a dungeon crawler. So it certainly has that aesthetic, but artwork overall, it's quite good. I'm happy with it. Not the best. I've definitely seen games with artwork where you would easily go, wow. These are not quite there, but these are still quite good in its own right. So I'm generally quite happy with it. Cardstock, however, I feel like could have been a bit better. I'm probably going to end up sleeving these, especially if I feel like I might end up getting the game played multiple times. We do get a dice. It's standard size, but it is engraved, so it's hopefully you can make it out. But wherever you see the circle and the numbers, those are sunken, so that's that. Some more cards here, which we can look at, assuming I can pull it out. Can I pull these out? Ugh, I had to push from underneath. Okay, here we go. The quality of the insert, I will note, is average. I appreciate the fact that there's a lid, but it's not very sturdy. As you can see from here, it's already starting to show some tears down at the bottom over here. And yours might as well, depending on what you get. Sorry about that, guys. There's a fly that somehow made its way inside my house and is just bugging the hell out of me. So you might see that pop into the screen every now and then, but just hopefully it's easy to ignore. All right, so I think we've seen some of these cards in the other one. We have Odin, Ishtar, Zeus, Ra. Okay, looks like god cards of sorts. And then I don't know what these are. These are Duplicity Mirror, Pandora's Box, Scarab Amulet, Map for the Afterworld, Tablet of Destinies. Okay, not sure what these cards do yet, but they look cool. So there's that. So that's our second trade done. We're gonna move this off to the side, and I think we have our last tray in this box coming up. Now, a lot of these have already moved around, as you can see. So the insert did not do a very good job of holding them onto their place. I mean, I just unboxed the box and they're already all over the place. So I'll worry about this later. We'll just have a quick look at some of these just so that I can give you guys a sense of what we have in here. So this, I assume, is from the Nordic mythology. It's one of these boats. And then if you want to see what it looks like with a sail, this is there. Now, did the sail come off on the other one, or I don't know. So, oh, let me get that. So, as you can see, this looks like it's supposed to have its sail. And then this one, there's a hole in here, which implies that there's a sail that should go in there, but obviously it's missing. So, might have broken, I think, which I guess is a bit of a bummer if that's the case. But we'll figure that out when we figure that out. So I'm just going to move these off to the side. We get some of these buildings as well. I think these are buildings. We get these are more Greek or Roman or something like that. Nice. We had to look at these three, and then we have the Egyptian ones, obviously with their pyramids. I assume this is the Egyptian one. Kind of makes sense that it would be. Then we have some of the figures. I'm not going to go through all of them, but let's have a look at some of these while we have the chance, because there is definitely a little bit of repetition in here. Again, they do feel on the smaller side. I've definitely seen plastic miniatures that feel more substantial than what these do, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to fuss too much about it. Oh, we have not had a look at this one, so let's maybe do that now. Yeah, I think I might just put these guys off in here. I think this might be easier to deal with. I'm going to sort these out by color later on. For now, I'm just going to pop them here so that I don't have to worry about it for now. Okay. Let's have a look at these larger ones. Oh. There we go. Now this feels a little bit more chunkier, a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to call that out. This, I assume, is the Egyptian god. Okay, and then the last one. Was this Odin? I think that's Odin. The All-Father. Minus the accent, of course. Let's have a look at these guys. Now these, of course, are, if you thought those were small, these are even tinier. It's very hard to tell the level of detail on these. They're fine for the size they are, but again, like, if keeping the size in relative context, these are super tiny. Yeah, so that's that. So that's this one. We have 3 more to go. Let's have a look at these guys. Okay. I think the yellow was the Egyptian one. So we're gonna have a look at that now. These are so thin that you can almost see the light coming through the shield over there. It is, yeah. I think the quality of the miniatures definitely could have been a little better. And just given the size of the production, and I assume the ambition that the publishers probably had for a game like this, could have been a little bit better. Okay, so that's the last of them. We're going to put this back inside. We're going to put the lid on. Now, there was no game board that we skipped, so there's no... Usually I save the game board for the very end, so we would normally look at that, but that's not the case in here. And then we already had a look at the back of the box before, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Yeah. And I think... just looking at these and having gone through the components, 3 expansions, I think this is the one that I backed, because I definitely remember seeing these miniatures. I'm just going to pull this up. I definitely remember seeing the miniatures from the Fall of Gods in here, the mythical creatures, and then the House Nipponis. We did not have the 5th layer components. I definitely would not have gone for that. I do wish I would have had the extra House of the Mesos, which I think is South American. I would have really liked to have that. I would have liked to have the distant planets as well. 5th layer, not so much. 8 replayable scenarios. Mixed feelings about that. But again, just given how often I'm likely to get the game to the table, just given the backlog of games I have, who knows when I would be able to get to all of those. So as much as the heart wants to have everything, sometimes you got to make decisions. And I'm usually somebody who always goes all in, but I think I'm going to try and be a little bit more cautious moving forward, and this hopefully is one of the steps towards that journey. But well, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I have that are still going to come over that are definitely all in. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore me. All right, I think we went through everything that's inside the box. Overall, my thoughts on the components. I have mixed feelings. I like aesthetics. I like the aesthetics. I think the quality of the miniatures could have been a little bit better. Where the miniatures are small, they're really, really small. Almost to the point of, why not just make them cubes rather than those really small miniatures. And the ones that are, except for the very largest ones, they do feel a little flimsy. So I'm going to see how they track in terms of the quality over time. We did see the one boat that had the sail come off. So I did not see that anywhere in the insert. So I don't know if that's still in the box or if that's just missing. We'll figure that out when we figure that out. But I'm definitely happy with these player boards. The fact that these are recessed, it's always great. Yeah, and overall, again, mixed feelings. I do have huge faith in the designers, though. So this may be something that's different from what they have done before. But just, again, given some of the other stuff they've done, I'm really excited to try this out, crack into it, and see what's the gameplay is all about. So that's it from me. That's the unboxing for Anunnaki Dawn of the Gods with one of the expansions thrown in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Hopefully the video gave you a good sense of what to expect inside the box if you backed one of these yourself, in terms of both the base components as well as one of the expansions, of course, not the other two. So, hopefully if you have one of the other expansions, you can share those with myself and others as well online. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.